Hello and welcome to Ari Faye's Darkflame Cleft, Resto Druid tips, tricks, and kicks commentary video. As we start running in here, I give a stampeding roar that can be really helpful for everybody to get it moving, especially if you have a slower tank, such as a Blood DK. As he gets everything gathered here, I hot everybody up with rejuves and germs, and then I put my vortex down. Keep an eye out for those dispels. The Wicklighters send out a magic debuff. They also do a cast of Wicklighter Bolt, which you'll want to keep interrupted with your Incap Roar or your Skull Bash. Because we have a rank overseer here as well, we are going to see big pulse of AoE when he casts Overpowering Roar. And Wind Wallop will send all of the mobs flying. So Wind Wallop is that big circle that's on the floor. Before the circle expires, it's great to put your vortex down. You can also blow the mobs to a side where they'll all be blown towards a wall once he throws them all away from him. You can use the columns here to line of sight the AoE. So if you feel like you are getting low, you can use the columns to hide behind when that overpowering roar is going out. You can also go ahead and bear form through the AoE, and that will give you some extra defensive there to keep your health a little bit higher. I just try to maintain rejuves and germs on everybody and life blooms and regrowth healing as needed. Just be careful about line of sighting people. This can be a little bit tough. People go on either side of the column. I love a pull like this. This is so nice to line of sight these groups. These lowly mole herds will also enrage. You can use your soothe on them. Stand on the mole herd and their throw rock ability will just not go off because they can't throw a rock at you while you're standing on them. The pack moles also enrage, but they won't be too much trouble. Old Waxbeard pulls down some menial laborers who apply a stacking bleed. You can use your Typhoon and your Vortex to crowd control them, because basically if you just stand there and take the bleed effect, it will stack so high that it will kill you. So that's how you can help somebody who isn't moving, but otherwise, if you get targeted by the luring candle and have all those laborers targeting you, then you can go ahead and I would cast Barkskin first of all for the stacking bleed, but also stay on the move if you can. This is definitely a boss that you could do some DPS on as long as you don't have all of the laborers after you because of the luring candle flame. And then for the reckless charge, if you are targeted, I like to just turn into a bear just in case I accidentally elbow him a little bit. You can also use Iron Bark on somebody who's targeted by the luring candle flame to help you heal them up, but it's not going to save them if they just don't take anything and stand there. If you are targeted by the luring candle flame, you can also run through the center to try and get the cart to run over the laborers. That'll kill them off as they get thrown away. I like to cat form down into this area so I take less damage. Unfortunately, I did not get my hots up here for everybody, and so everybody took a lot of damage. When the tank pulls all these mobs, it's good to have all of your rejuves and germs out. If you need to cover yourself with a defensive early on, you can do that. As the big AoEs are going out, you can heal this similar to the Sacred Tolls in Priory, which is to say, maintain all of your rejuves and your germinations as much as you can, and then regrowth everybody as needed, and then use Convoke if you need it up. It's also not a bad idea to use Tranquility in this area. The Wandering Candles are the ones who are casting that Quenching Blast, which causes that big pulse of AoE. And then the Task Workers do spawn a pool on the ground, which stuns players who are standing in it, which sometimes your tank will accidentally take one of those circles and get stunned, so just watch your tank on these poles. There's also the Blazing Fiend, who casts Explosive Flame, and you want to make sure that's kicked. In order to CC this large group, I would recommend using your Incap Roar here, and then let some other people use their CC, and things are still going off, then you can use a Vortex into a Typhoon to help with the second round of CC, and then Skull Bash as needed. For that Quenching Blast, you can also Bear Form to help reduce damage. Now we have the Blazicon, which I like to call Lumiere. This boss is very weird to heal. He opens with a Dowsing Breath, which is big damn. For the Dowsing Breath, every time he casts that, I would recommend turning into a bear. And then he puts out a barrage that causes you to be followed by fire puddles. I like to use Tiger's Dash for that. So I could, what I like to call, teleport via cat across the arena to light more candles. I or one of my party friends will mark the candle which is going to be blown out, and then I tell everybody that they need to stack on me or they need to send their wind in between the candles. Then I stage myself further as the tornado is blown towards us, and then I use Convoke to heal everybody up as that AoE is going off. The main thing is that only one candle should be blown out. And then for the barrage, you want to have as many candles lit as possible, and that will make this boss much easier to heal. After the Dowsing Breath, just top everybody off and avoid the wind tornadoes. Those will definitely kill you if you get hit by them. Up next we have some Flame Tenders. Just keep them AoE CC'd and none of their casts will go off and it will be totally fine to heal. I do like to prep some rejuves in case some casts do go off. You can use your in-cap roar here or a Skull Bash or a Vortex into a Typhoon to help CC those. We do the skip here, but if you weren't, and you end up taking on these mini bosses, then Torch Snarl will do a knockback, and you should bear form when that knockback happens. Otherwise, Soot Snout will do a Candle Flame Tether and put out a magic debuff that you'll need to dispel. He also conjures candles on the ground, which during the knockback you'll need to avoid. Here we have the Candle King, which you'll really be able to show off your mastery of healing with. In particular, the skills that I've been talking about with maintaining rejuves on people and germinations. Double life blooming, having your efflorescence out so you have full use of your mastery, and just regrowthing as needed. There is a pickaxe here that is thrown out at a random player. It could be the tank, it could be the healer, it could be any of the DPS. Watch to see if that pickaxe is targeted towards you. You can use your cat form if you need to teleport via cat, but you'll want to make sure you stack back on top of the boss after the circles go out and melt the candles. You'll also want to make sure that Paranoid Mind stays interrupted, so you can help with that with your Skull Bash. This is one of those fights where it's just going to get harder to heal the longer it goes on. So my recommendation would be to try to heal using your Abundance talent, so those rejuves and germinations out, and adding regrowths in as the candles get melted. On the third round, you can use your Convoke or your Tranquility. Fourth round, whatever is left, your Convoke or Tranquility. And then start the cycle again, add a rejuve and germination to all again, adding in some regrowths as needed, and hopefully by the next round, your Convoke will be back up. In this area, your tank may want you to follow them with a candle, or they might grab a candle, bring some things back. They are going to bring back two different types of mobs, the creepers and the horrors. The horrors you'll want to keep interrupted when they cast Drain Light, and then you'll just want to use your Dispel on the tank as he's taking a stacking debuff from the creepers. You can also use Ironbark on the tank to help when your Dispel is on cooldown. I like to keep all of my hots up on the tank just in case he needs some extra healing. Finally, we have the last boss of Darkflame Cleft. It has a very strange pattern of abilities, but the two main abilities that you should be concerned about are Shadow Blast and healing the Eternal Darkness. For the Eternal Darkness, you're going to want to make sure that you have all of your rejuves and germinations out and your life blooms and your efflorescence. And you can spot heal with regrowths as well as Convoke. On higher key levels, if a DPS does not use a defensive with the Shadow Blast, they will just be taken out, they'll die. For us as the Druid, we have our Bark Skin, which we can use as a defensive, but we also have Ursine's Vigor, and we could just bear form. But if you turn into a bear too early on this boss at too high of a keystone, you will just die, because Ursine's Vigor only lasts for 4 seconds. So just be careful about when you turn into a bear when you are targeted by that particular ability. Thank you for watching my tips, tricks, and kicks video. I hope you learned a little something about how you can use your toolkit as a Resto Druid in Darkflame Cleft.